My name is MIKAEL. I'm 44 years old and I've been in the church almost 3 years. So before going to church, I was brought up as a Catholic, but never practiced. Really, I started to be affected by panic attack from the teenage years. The more I was getting old, the worse those panic attacks were coming. To the point where it was so much affecting me that the only thing I could do was go to work and go back home. And even at the time, the suicide was something I have been thinking about. Then I seek some medical attention and was able to carry away and go ahead with my life by taking tabs. But I was attached to those tabs. And one day, when I was about to fly back to France, took the plane and did not realize I didn't have my tablets with me. Then the panic attack kicked off. I asked the hostess to stop the plane for me so that I could get out. When I got out the plane, at the time, I felt terrible. And that was the feeling I was having every time I was having those panic attacks, because it was making me, instead of moving forward, moving backward. And every time it was kind of a defeat. The only way for me to cope with my life was actually to take tablets. But I was never free. And the reason why I was taking tablets is because I was not able to make some certain things in my own life. And it affected also my confidence, because in many situations, the panic attack would kick off. I would have probably need to stop whatever I was doing. So it made me miss many opportunities. And every time I was having those failures, it made me very embarrassed. I was embarrassed about myself, because as soon as the panic attack passed, I had this this feeling that I was not able to handle the situation, and made me ashamed of myself. So then I was invited to church a couple of times, and I was not interested. But one day I decided to go in France. That night, the sermon spoke to me. I could really relate to what I could hear, and I found it interesting. I was invited a second time, so I went back again, still interested. But then there was a year or two that passed before I actually started to attend regularly the service here in Ireland. My wife was coming, and initially, but I didn't want to come. She was attending the service with my son. After a month, I would say, I started to join too, and since then I've been attending regularly. Since I came to church, that helped me to grow my faith. And many situations in life where sometimes I didn't have the right tools to deal with, I started to find them in the Bible and in my faith. That's when I started to learn about how I could combat my panic attack. And that was a real problem for me, because I was affected by that for more than 30 years. We did an event, there was that particular event, it is finished. I was praying for this, I was praying for my panic attack to end. And actually, the next day would be for me the test, because the next day I would have to take the plane, and the plane without the tabs was not an option for me. When we flew, before the plane took off, I started to pray, and I took like a drop of blessed oil. And I started to pray before the plane took off. The panic attack tried to come, but the prayer was too strong, and it went away, and I was able to fly without any problem, and it really made me feel happy at the time. On our way back, I thought, okay, I will have to do exactly the same thing, use my faith. And my wife looked at me and she simply told me, "Are you okay?" Simply these words made me doubt about my faith suddenly. And then the panic attack kicked off again. I was taking a drop of blessed oil, and my wife and my son was advising me to pray and read the Bible, because many times I was tempted to go back to the tablets and take the tablets, because I couldn't bear it. But I stick to the plan, not taking the tablets, and it vanished. It was a long fight, but it vanished. And then we had this pilgrimage. Since I joined the church, I could hear about the Holy Spirit and how it was important for us to get the Holy Spirit. And I was working toward receiving the Holy Spirit, but I was constantly thinking that there's no way for me to get the Holy Spirit. If I cannot overcome my panic attack, like how could I have the Holy Spirit? I was constantly having those doubts in my mind. And then we were offered this opportunity to go on pilgrimage in Israel. With my family, this is definitely something we wanted to do. But obviously going to Israel, it means to take the plane, And for me, that was a new challenge. That was a way actually to confirm and to improve my faith. I did the same thing that I did previously. I used the same technique and apply my faith to go to Israel. And then when we were there, each site that we visited, we were learning something new. And I remember particularly like two sites. One was the Valley of Elah, when David defeated Goliath. And we did this exercise actually thinking about what was the biggest problem in our life, what was our giant. And we all took a stone to kill that giant. And I understood at the time that my biggest problem was not the panic attack anymore, was the doubt that was there, that was making me believe that the panic attack was still there, I could kick off at any time, was making me believe that I was not able to receive the Holy Spirit. So we threw that stone, and that was great. And on the same day, later in the day, we visited the Lord's Supper. When Jesus took the Last Supper with the disciple, pastor was reading and talking about the Holy Spirit and explained that we don't need to be perfect to receive the Holy Spirit. And because I cast it out, then I killed this doubt. Then I thought, okay. And that was like, for me, that was a relief. I was really happy actually to understand that finally I could receive it. I could have the Holy Spirit. The difference was just the assurance itself that I didn't need to ask myself, because many times I was seeking and I think it was an emotion, I was seeking an emotion. But that time there was no emotion, it was just an assurance. I had the Holy Spirit. So later on, we also went in the upper room and we seek the Holy Spirit in that place. At this time I was not looking for a feeling. I had simply this assurance that I had the Holy Spirit, and that was the greatest choice actually, because I knew I had it. I realized I had it actually for some time, but I was not able to see it because the doubt was making me believe I didn't have it. Yeah, I was feeling happy. I was feeling happy because this is not something that because I already found it. So then on our way back from Israel, I was a different person. I didn't need to take the tablets. I was feeling confident using my faith in the plane. And it really transformed me, really, even on my daily life, because the panic attack affected also myself. I constantly had doubt. I didn't have those doubts anymore. I had this peace, a real peace. And it's probably like the greatest gift is to have that peace, really. For me, because 30 years in trouble with panic attack, it's just great. So now on our way back from Israel, filled with the Holy Spirit, there was no need to be panicked in the plane anymore. I was having doubts constantly, and that has vanished. That has simply vanished. I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to do things that I wanted to do before, but was never able to do. So to those who are probably struggling with doubts, like I was, the first thing to do is to not listen to that, because it's the devil trying to spread these doubts in your mind, and to cast them out as soon as they come. Don't let them spread in your mind. After receiving the Holy Spirit, that simply gave me the need to develop more. In a spiritual way, I want to receive more. So keep learning, reading my Bible, practicing, and staying faithful.